Okay, welcome to this section. This is an interesting section. We are going to do something nice, an illustration like this. So if you have been following us on this training, watch out, this is gonna be interesting. So you're going to recreate this illustration from scratch, so just follow me along while we do it. So to get started, just drop it into the CorelDraw application window like that, as you can see, and drag it to the sides. So you're going to start creating the different objects that make up this graphic, this illustration. This is a jackpot, a spinner, wheel of fortune spinner. So I'm going to position it like this, the middle of the screen, the document window. So to get started, we are going to start creating the different components from the base of the device. So I'm going to draw a rectangle like this. Make sure you hold down make sure you position the rectangle correctly, and draw another one on top of the one at the bottom like this. Okay, so having done that, I'm going to go ahead and chamfer it. You can see the curved edges, so you can go up to the top and make sure you deselect the key icon there, so that you can now be able to round the edges on top. Okay, so you're going to put the figure you can see there, and it's going to round the edges to chamfer it. Okay, so I'm going to create the next rectangle like this on top of the second rectangle. Alright, so the next thing we are going to do is to create the circle, the big circle that is going to be the base for the whole thing. Hold down your control key while you do that, so you're going to see that it gives you a perfect circle. Go ahead and make the adjustment to make it match the outline of the original circle like this. Adjust it as appropriately as needed. Okay, so it looks good. So now the next thing we're going to do is to create the top. So this is also a chamfered rectangle, so click and drag according to the height of the reference. Make the adjustments, then chamfer the top again. Go up there to the settings on top and adjust the chamfer for the top left and top right edges, like so. Okay, so you have it there, very nice. The next thing you're going to do is to draw the circle, the little circle there. It is dark colored. Okay, like that. And then you can now give it, you can now do okay, the next thing we're going to draw the spinner. Okay, yeah, the spinner there. So select a rectangle and drag it down, create a rectangle, then make adjustments, make it to fit the reference. Okay, then what you are going to do is to convert this into a curve. Go to object, convert to curves, and then switch to editing curve mode by double clicking on that object. Create a node at that point, add a node there, then delete the the other two nodes by the left and by the right hand side. So that gives you the shape you are looking for. Exactly. Alright, now the next thing we are going to do is to start creating the little circles, the little lights all around the device. So this is interesting, just follow along. So click and draw a circle like this. Hold down your control key. Sorry, that wasn't good. Hold down your control key, okay, like this. Position it properly. Then we are going to duplicate the circles that we are seeing, and to do that you are going to switch to rotation mode and drag the center of pivot to the center of the device. And to make sure that this is possible, just switch your snapping mode to object snap, to make sure that the center of the device is located. So yeah, that's the center of the device. Okay, so now its circle is centered to the center of the device. So hold down your right shift key to duplicate, drag and duplicate as you're seeing that, and then continue to redo the duplication as I do it. You can use Ctrl R on your keyboard. Keep pressing Ctrl R. CorelDraw is going to keep creating copies. Never mind, it may not be perfect. We'll make the adjustments in a bit, like so. Alright, Ctrl R, and you have your duplicates. So what you can do, go in now and start making adjustments to rotate properly, to align properly with the reference. So click again, rotate back to the original reference, like that. Sometimes you may need to move it properly into position. Just follow my lead and you get exactly what I'm saying. Like this, you have to move it into position. Yeah, just like that. So keep rotating them back again, move to position, continue doing that. So just like that, move into position, rotate, move into position, rotate, move into position, rotate back, move into position, like so. Sorry, I'm gonna undo that. Okay, rotate, move into position, yeah, just continue with that until you get them all perfectly positioned, and we can continue. Remember, I'm using a wheel mouse, so it's quite easy to zoom in and zoom out. As you can see, that's the advantage of using a wheel mouse. Okay, so it looks like all our circles are almost done. They are almost okay. They are okay right now. So having done that, we are going to start adding the effects, the colors. So we're going to change that to a red. Remember, I'm using RGB color model. Okay, now if you can see, there's a little highlight in the middle of the the circle. So I'm going to use the color fill tool, select fountain fill, and then select elliptical fountain tool setting rather, then click the edit fill icon there so that you can now edit the fountain. Okay, so what you can do now is to reduce the size of the highlight and focus it. So you've got to do that by following my lead. There is this transformation setting there. So what you're going to do is to reduce the transformation, just like that. Reduce it till you get something better. So that's the highlight you're seeing there. Okay, so what we're going to do is to replicate the color fill to the other circles. So we can use this little tool by the bottom of the toolbox, the color eyedropper, the attributes eyedropper. So make sure that fill is selected and the settings. Okay, so you're going to click and drop. So it's going to continue, it's going to drop the color settings, fill settings on all the circles you applied to, just like that. So it's going to apply the same fountain fill to all of them. Okay, like that. Alright, so it's going to keep applying that until you are done. So the next thing we're going to do is to replicate the colors to the yellow ones, but we are going to edit the fill. So we go back to the edit fill settings for yellow and change it to yellow. Change it to a dull yellow. Okay, something like this. Yeah, something like this. So you can see that the colors are almost the same. So having done that, we're going to replicate the color fill to the other yellow circles. Like so. So we use the attribute eyedropper to replicate the color to the yellow circles, like so. Alright, so we are done with that. Nice. So the next thing we're going to do is to create the glow. There's a certain glow on each of them. So go ahead and select one of the circles. Then we are going to achieve that using the drop shadow setting, or the drop shadow tool, to create the glow highlight. So we'll go ahead and select drop shadow with the object selected, then go to the settings, select a large glow. Then you can now change the color mode to RGB and select red, as you can see. So it's not as intense as the original, but we're going to change that in a bit. So you can go to the shadow settings, then you can select outside. That's too big. Okay, let's try middle. So that looks more like it. So what we're gonna do is to replicate the shadow settings. So what we're gonna do is to replicate the shadow settings. So simply go to the eyedropper, attributes eyedropper. Make sure that drop shadow is selected under effects. Okay. So pick up the setting, apply it to the other circles, just like that. Remember, we are using the attributes eyedropper, so it copies an attribute of an object and replicates it to other objects inside CorelDraw. That's a very nice tool. It makes your work easier, so you don't have to keep repeating the same effect endlessly. It will simply do the work for you. Okay, so we are going to apply for the yellow colors. So we are going to apply that for the yellow colors. Okay, so pick up and apply. Sorry, we are not going to select the fill. We are going to deselect the fill and make sure only the effect drop shadow is selected. So pick up the red and drop on the yellow. So we are going to change the drop shadow color to yellow. Select that and simply change to yellow. Okay, like so. So simply go ahead, use the eyedropper tool again to apply the same setting to all the yellow circles, the yellow lights. Just like that. You keep applying them until you're done. Okay, so we're done with that. Beautiful. So we now have the little lights done. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to clear the next thing we are going to do is to create the different compartments. So you can achieve that using a pen tool. Okay, so follow my lead, go to the center of the device and drop it, go back to the origin and close the object. So you now have a rectangle. So you simply switch to curve editing and apply a curve there, as you can see, then make adjustments. Make adjustments, as you can see. Okay, so we apply a yellow color to that, and so we have $100 written there. So we're going to write $100. Okay, so we have $100 written there, so I'm going to go ahead and write $100. Go ahead and scale it down, probably rotate, make it bold, apply a white color, then rotate. You can hold down Ctrl key while rotating to give you perfect rotation points. Okay, something like that. So now we're going to group both of them, the rectangle and the $100 text. So group them, then make sure the rotation pivot is at the center of the device. Yeah, that's the pivot. So what you're going to do is to keep rotating and creating duplicate copies. Right click, drag, and left click. So that's going to quickly rotate and create a duplicate. So go ahead and and use the Ctrl R to create more duplicates. Nice. So what you can do is to make adjustments, because it may not be perfect. Simply make adjustments to the position of the objects. Go back, make adjustments as needed. Okay. So that probably is okay. The positioning is okay. So we've got that done. So the next thing we're going to do is to change the color of the yellow compartments. Okay, simply do a control click to select only the rectangle. That's what I'm doing. Control click. If you want to select an object in a group, just do a control click. So you're going to select only the object you clicked on. So change the colors to yellow. Okay, like so. So the next thing we're going to do is to compare at this stage. Let's see how far we've gone. Okay, so everything is looking better. Everything at this stage, so far so good. We are getting it. So what we can do is to adjust the letterings. So for that, it's going to be jackpot. Simply edit the text. So for this is a jackpot. Okay, so if you spin the wheel of fortune and you hit that, then that means you've hit a jackpot. Alright, so this one is lose. You lost if you get that. So we're going to keep adjusting this. So adjust them as you can see. Simply edit the text. So this is a 300. And the next one is a 200. Okay, so I'm using the edit text tool. The text tool to create this, to edit this. That's a 500. Next one is $1,000. Okay, so that's more like it. That's more like it. So far so good. So we're going to create the circle objects at the center. So that looks more like golden. So what we're going to do is to create it on this reference for accuracy. Then we are going to take it to the origin, our copy, and place them there. So this is a circle. We're going to create a fountain fill. Okay, but meanwhile let's duplicate that to create the outer circle. Okay, like so. So I'm going to select the inner circle, and let's see how we can create the colors we are seeing there. Okay, so what we can do now is to select the object, and then go apply the fill, the fountain fill to it, then change it to the conical fountain setting. Okay, that's conical fountain fill. So we're going to create the different colors we are seeing there. So what we can do is to add points of editing on the color, the gradient. As you can see, just double click to add each of them. Okay, so then you begin to adjust them individually. Begin to adjust the colors individually. Something golden, it's almost golden. So we are trying to recreate a gold pattern there, gold fountain feel there, like that. So we keep selecting and editing each of the points, each of the control points, like so. It's kind of interesting what you can achieve with CorelDraw. If you really know what you're doing, you can create anything, you can create anything. So at a point you may need to copy the color settings, as you can see, and go over to another point and paste, as you can see. Okay, so this is not looking more like it, so we're going to keep editing it to give us what we need. Okay, so let's compare and see what we got. So we're going to compare at the end of the day and see how close we came to replicating that. Then the outer circle, we're going to still use the same technique, the conical color setting, the conical setting, that's what we're using. Excuse me, the weather is cold out here, so I'm having congestion, sorry about it. Okay, so we are going to continue editing this to create a kind of gold gradient. Okay, like so. So what we can do is to make adjustments. Just follow my lead and you're gonna get it. So we can send this behind the smaller circle by just doing a control page down, okay, to order it to send it behind the smaller circle. So let's compare and see what we got. So as you can see, our own is quite different a little bit, so we can make the adjustments. We can edit that. Simply go back to the color setting. Then we can now create more control points and start adding more colors there to create the effect we need. Start adding other control points, like so. Okay, something like that, something like that. So we just have to just have to keep working at it. To make adjustments as necessary to give us a better effect. To make adjustments as necessary, you may need to move them over and create more control points, like so. So once you get the idea, it's very easy, it's fun. Just follow my lead and you're gonna get it. Okay, just like that. So make sure they are evenly spaced, as you can see me doing this. Something like this. Okay, so our design is quite close. Okay, but I just want to do some fine-tuning here. On the smaller one, the inner circle. Just want to make some adjustments here, as you can see. Okay, yeah, something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? It just has to have the effect, that effect, and the colors just need to be related. That's all. It doesn't have to be perfect. You get the idea, something like that. Okay, so we're going to, having done that, we'll simply clear the outline by right clicking on the X. Okay, so we have something similar to that. So what we'll do is to move it back to the original and see. So we got something similar to that. Okay, so what we can do is to I want to create the shadow. You can see a shadow behind, so I'm going to duplicate the outer circle, make it black or dark, send it back one step. I'm going to convert this to a bitmap. Okay, just follow my lead, follow the settings I apply. Make that a 300. And then simply apply a blur, a Gaussian blur. Okay, so that's going to create the shadow effect. There are several ways you can achieve this. This is one of the ways you can create a shadow effect in CorelDraw. Okay, something like that. So we'll take it back and place it in the center of the design. So I'm going to align it perfectly by grouping the three objects and using the alignment tool. So I simply selected the outer circle with the three of the group, select the outer circle, then press a C on your keyboard. So it's going to align perfectly at the center, and align perfectly at the center. So what I did is to increase the shadow a little. So the next thing, we are going to use the eyedropper tool to copy the color to the outer circle. Apply the color to the outer circle, and then remove the outline from each of our circles, the little lights. Remove the outline. So we're going to clear the outline. Simply select all of them, all the circles, as you see. Select them and clear the outline. Super easy. Just remember to hold down your shift key while selecting. So that's a smart way to select multiple objects at once. Hold down Shift key and do a multiple selection. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so we are on course. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to select all these and ungroup them, the objects in the different compartments, and group them one by one. I'm going to do a shift select and group, select ungroup. So just to make sure that each of them is ungrouped. Okay, like so. Then just to add an outline, I'm going to add an outline to each of them. Just follow my lead. Then I'm going to use a Ctrl R to repeat. Use a Ctrl R to repeat to repeat the outline on each of them. Okay, that's it. Okay, that one is still grouped, so I ungroup that, apply the outline, and we are done. Okay. Okay, so we're going to finish up our design, our illustration. So we'll go ahead and create the effect, the rectangle on top, that is the top. We're going to create the color effects there. So as you can see, is a gradient also. So we're going to use the same technique we used at the beginning for the other gradient. So you can edit the gradient, rotate it as needed. If you click in the display, the preview is going to rotate. So just follow my lead. Okay, create another control point there and add a color there, something close to our reference. May not be perfect, but let it just be as close as possible. Okay, just play around until you get something close. That color looks more like a wooden color, like wood. Okay, keep making the adjustments. Yeah, something like that. That's close. Doesn't have to be perfect, just something close. Okay, I think that's okay. So what you're going to do is to use the same color here, copy the color and apply it to the one at the extreme, like so, and paste it here. When you paste it, just make sure you click inside the preview to get the same effect, get the same color. Okay, so something like this. So we're going to send it behind the whole thing. So go back to select the object and send it behind the big circle, like so. Okay, then that's a black. We make that a black and clear the outline. Then now we are talking about the selector. Okay, so that's the selector. We are going to send it in front okay, that's in front of this small circle. It is not yet perfect. Send it in front of the rectangle. Okay, that's it, something like that. So we're going to apply a gradient once again. Just follow my lead. We're using the same technique. Okay, we're using the same technique. It's quite easy. You may need to add the control points like so. Okay, that's it. So we replicate this color from this, copy this color from this point to the extreme one like so. I'm going to paste that there. Okay, so that's more like it. We'll simply make adjustments as needed. Make adjustments as needed. So it's not close, but all we can do is to we can duplicate that. Okay, make it wider. Okay, add more points. Okay, yeah, it looks more like it now. Yeah, something like this. That looks more like it. That looks more like it. Okay, so that's done. So you can clear the outline, and if you notice there's a shadow behind that, so you can add a shadow there, quite easy. So simply use the drop shadow tool to add a shadow there. So just sorry about that. So I'm just going to scale it up a little bit just to match the reference. Take out the outline there. Okay, just like that. So we've got our shadow. Just click and drag a little bit, just a tad. Yeah, don't need to drag too far, just a little bit. So we have our shadow. Okay, so far so good. Everything is coming into everything is working out. Okay, so we're going to add the colors. Complete adding the colors. Use the color eyedropper to match the colors. So those colors are similar. Okay, that's it. And the next thing is to create the white highlight that you can see there. So we can try a drop shadow, but let's see whether it's going to give us what we want. That's not going to work. Okay, that's not working out. Even if we try all the different settings there, it's not going to give us white. So what we can do, we use another technique to reproduce the white highlight. We can see that So what we can do, we simply clear the drop shadow, remove the drop shadow, so it's not working at all. It's not working. So we're going to simply clear the drop shadow, remove it. So we'll use another technique like I showed you before. Simply use a Gaussian blur. So we're going to duplicate that object, and create change the color to white, of course. Okay, change the color to white, clear the outline, then simply send it behind, just one step, send it behind, just one step, other back one. Okay, so it's not giving us what we need. So what we can do is select both of them. Okay, like that. Just use the shift key, select both of them, and send them to the front of page. Yeah, there you have it. So the next thing is to convert that to a bitmap, the white rectangle, and apply a Gaussian blur. It doesn't have to be much, just a slight blur there. It's gonna do it. Alright, so you can now properly position it like that. Then simply crop out the other sides. Use the shape tool, crop out the rest of it like so. Okay, perfect. So we remove the outlines. We're going to remove the outlines from the other shapes. The base, remove the outline. Now make that perfect or better. So we're going to compare both of them and see how far we've come. Let's compare our illustration with the reference. See how far we've come. Wow, wonderful, beautiful. Yeah, it may not be perfect, but we are quite close. Okay, so there is a white highlight around the outer circle, as you can see. So we're going to fix that in a bit. There's a white highlight there, so simply add an outline, a white outline. Yeah, that's it. So our circle, our boat is behind, so we're going to send it to the front like this, the front of page. Alright, so far so good. Everything is looking more like it. So congratulations, we've achieved this just in an hour or so. We're able to achieve this. So the possibilities are endless. I would like you to go online, look for illustrations that you can be able to replicate, and as you practice that, you see that your skills are going to increase. You're going to be more proficient with CorelDraw. Use CorelDraw to draw illustrations, create illustrations, and anything is possible. So the possibilities are endless. Thank you for sticking around. God bless you.